welcome to another week of our Adaptive Esports tournament. My name is Glitter Explosion. I'm going to be your host for today, and I am joined on the desk by Frank. We got to talk about this, okay?
Sure.
I am so excited for this week because after the performances we saw in our last qualifier, I expect things to get even crazier here today.
Okay, that's great because when someone asks me that question, you know, how you started it, typically it's a much less fun conversation. But I'm happy to talk about the results of last week because definitely they were exciting. Just in terms of the competition in Adaptive Esports tournaments, it's clearly been elevated. So yeah, I'm super excited to see what the competitors have for us here today.
All right, well, if you guys are new here and you don't know what we're talking about, first let's walk you through how this whole thing works. All right, now this is our second qualifier. We're going to be having 4 of those, as you can see up on the event schedule, with 1 LCQ and then our finals in January. Now, as far as the format goes, it will be a 2v2 with a single elimination bracket. Standard game rules, but Frank, we got to talk about this because we've added a 7-goal limit and it played into things last week.
Yeah, last time we kind of saw, you know, not to spoil things too much, but it did come into effect. It was definitely exciting, and, you know, it can kind of work one of 2 ways. It can be a stomp where it's like, hey, we hit 7, boom, let's go on to the next game in the series, or, you know, potentially we can have that neck and neck 6 goals to 6 goals, next goal wins within that regulation time. So yeah, it's been really exciting to see.
And not only that, it's going to be a best of 3 as far as getting through to those finals. Then when we hit the finals, it will be a best of 5. Now, of course, prizing is even more than our last go at this Adaptive Esports tournament as well. First place taking home a huge $1,400, second taking home $900, and then down from there, third and fourth at $500 and $200 apiece. I love that this has just continued to grow and get bigger even every single time.
Yeah, we're talking like $3,000 per qualifier, and then I think it even elevates more in that grand final. So, I mean, if you come in first, you're talking about splitting $1,400 2 ways. That's not a bad split.
Not too shabby. Now, of course, if all of this sounds enticing, then you guys should try and join us, okay? You can head on over to aet.gg to apply and sign up with us to possibly win your share of that $3,000 prize pool, okay? You'll have 2 more opportunities plus our LCQ if you were able to make your way in there. So do not hesitate. Get on over there right now. Get yourself signed up to join. And on top of that, okay, guys, after this broadcast, we're going to be having a very, very fun community game that we're going to be playing Fall Guys. That's going to be a blast. Everybody has a good time in Fall Guys, Frank.
I think it's hard to have a bad time as long as you kind of go in with the right mindset, right? I kind of have to set those competitive mindsets down and just realize that everyone's there for a good time. But no, I think you're totally right. It's going to be a fun one after the stream, so hope to see you guys there.
And then, of course, there's this. We're not done, okay? We also have some things for you in chat. Now, if you do !AET in chat while you are hanging out with us, you can enter for your chance to win any of these really cool prizes that you see up here on the screen. And you know that this is going to be a really good holiday gift if you can get a giveaway, all right? I would love some new peripherals. I don't know about you.
I don't know, but all I know is that you reminded me I need to do Christmas shopping, so I'm kind of in a different spot right now, but totally, that would be an excellent holiday gift bundle for sure.
And then, of course, speaking of gifts, if you guys are here and you want to support any of our amazing charity partners, you can head on over to aet.gg/donate. Any of those 3 down below. Your support will go to all of them, and we would really appreciate all of that. Now, we need to look forward to the future of what we've got going in the tournament here today, and that is going to be our bracket. Obviously, we've gone through our quarterfinals already, and our semifinals matchups are right around the corner. We're going to be starting at the top of the bracket today, Frank, so it's going to be Dreammakers against Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler. These names are so good.
Yeah, and I'm excited for this first matchup because it's 2 names that we saw previously in qualifier number 1. Dreammakers does have the winner Fear the Nub on that squad, but of course with this being qualifier number 2, there's still kind of the randomized teammates kind of getting in the mix, so that's going to come into effect. And then Rolling Carry we saw last time, Aerospace Wheeler, however, I don't believe we did, so it's kind of a little bit of what we know and a little bit of something new. Best of both worlds, I think, in that first semifinal.
What I do love, though, is that this randomization could be setting people up with their next perma duo.
Yeah.
Okay, they're allowed to try something new a little bit.
What's interesting too is, you know, we have kind of the duos from the previous season that we know they're kind of waiting to get paired up with, but there's always that opportunity of, like, you know, grass is greener in a way. I'm excited to see if some of those duos stick around, or, you know, by nature of that kind of random pairing, if we do get some new combinations, some really potent ones. So yeah, great point you brought up there.
I mean, and you did mention earlier, we've had so many more competitors this season that it's completely expanded the playing field and the potential for some serious chemistry to form amongst all of our players, which is why we probably had such phenomenal gameplay last time around.
Yeah, and I think so. And you know, speaking of phenomenal chemistry, I think we have Semail waiting in the wings to bring us our first game. So I'm going to hop on board with him, see if he's ready to get into this one. Semail, how you doing?
Oh, you know I'm ready, Frank. I've been waiting. I've been chomping at the bit over here to get in on qualifier number 2. After I was at the first one, I realized this is going to be a fabulous event. I was pretty sure coming in, but that first qualifier definitely solidified that, because that was some unbelievable Rocket League. We talked about last time, I think we did on broadcast, but if not, I'll just get it out there. 2v2, my favorite game type in all of Rocket League. So yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, I think it's great. Like you mentioned, kind of those strengths and sometimes like the negatives, the things that can come and bite you in 2v2s, I think makes this kind of so exciting, where you have to be able to read those situations and do a little bit of everything to really see success. And the teams we saw in that grand final definitely did that. And like you mentioned, the competition just continuing to elevate. So I'm expecting it to be the same type of thing this time around. And I think we're going to be getting into that game soon. And do you have any predictions here? I know it's tough with the random seeding, but do you think Fear the Nub with that success is going to carry that through to this second qualifier here?
Well, I mean, we remember how good his bracket was last time, just absolutely ran through the bracket. I think ended up losing only one game throughout. So, I mean, yeah, good money's on Fear the Nub, I think, right now. But it's just qualifier number 2. We got random teams out here. I mean, that's a tough question, Frank, on me. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just say I'm gonna go with the winner until they're not the winner anymore. That sounds good, right?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's a fair point, right? Like, our eyes are on him. We'll see how he performs, but here we go, getting into game number 1. I believe we're going to get this one started just in a second here. Like we mentioned, Rolling Carry also returning, but with a new teammate. So we'll have to see if that's a shakeup, if, you know, Fear the Nub and his teammate aren't ready for them, or what's going on here. But the game is live, and we are in it. Here is Fear the Nub playing some defense in this blue side corner, trying to get this clear. Teammate Whiplash going to go just a little bit wide on this one. So Nub is trying to make a play here, but here's a play from our orange team, and it's going to be Rolling Carry getting on the board first.
And that pass there from Wheeler perfectly placed into the open space right in front of it. No one back, as that was the last defender there. Beaten on that play. Really good offensive press here from Rolling an Arrow out the gate. And this is the pressure that we expect in the semifinals, but we were talking Fear the Nub. Didn't necessarily know if it was going to be from the orange side, but here they go. They're looking for more. They get it. Aerospace, Wheeler out front, doing it all himself.
Yeah, almost looks like, you know, Fear the Nub taking a little bit of time to get warmed up here. Definitely not that same aggressive style we saw from him early on in qualifier number 1. So now they're going to have to really dig deep, play from this 2-goal deficit. And keep in mind, they only need 5 more goals to close this one out. Move to game 2 of the series. A little bit of a better break, but Whiplash going to come up just a little bit short on that touch. So Fear the Nub thankfully has his back. Going to be able to knock this one up. The demo does come through. Whiplash cautious, though, smartly trying to stay back on defense, play that middleman position. It's going to be Aerospace Wheeler trying to get a little offensive with it. Gets a touch to center that one on net. Teammate coming through, but it's Fear the Nub hustling back on defense to stop that one in its tracks.
And good control here to start this game from the orange side, especially coming out of Aerospace Wheeler. Saw a couple of shots there just a moment ago. Even though they were off the mark, they're putting the defense around in circles right now. And we are seeing that blue defense struggling to get out of their own end. They're back there yet again. Here's Wheeler off the side wall. He's got Carey ready and waiting. Also noticing a lot of good team. Oh man, he's just, I'm lost for words. It's Fear the Nub. Everything on the field is falling apart, including me, as Fear the Nub took that topic off of my mouth and said, "Now we're talking about blue right now."
Yeah, a great kind of just saying, you know what, I need to take this one into my own hands, make the play happen, and he does just that. Brings the Dream Makers within one. Now we have another kickoff here. Going to be slightly in favor of the orange team. We'll see if Aerospace Wheeler has it, but a little too much zip behind that one. Going to go wide, tries to hustle back towards the middle, but it's a demo from Fear the Nub, and that one's going to connect to tie us up at 2s.
Right off of kickoff, Fear the Nub has time, gets it over Wheeler, and the demo as well. Really just cherry on top. That was going through and in no matter what, but Fear the Nub just putting the team on his shoulders right now. 2-2, all tied up, just when you thought the orange side was going to run away from this game. No. We are still playing through. This is competitive, Frank. This is the semifinals.
Yeah, semifinals winner of this one, of course, going to be moving on to the grand finals, where first place will be taking home $1,400. And here we have Aerospace Wheeler on board with him, trying to see if he can contest, win that 50-50, but it's going to be just about neutral until blue team finds that second touch. Aerospace Wheeler with all the hustle out on the pitch right now, trying to work his way into that one. One member of the Dream Makers, I believe that was Whiplash. Tough touch, but it's going to be centered back up at midfield. And here you see Whiplash trying to chase this one down, able to pick up that boost and pop this one up. Looks like Aerospace Wheeler tries to go for that pinch, but it's a scramble right now at the midfield. But here's Fear the Nub trying to get another little aggressive touch, trying to get some offense going, but it's just so heavily contested at this moment. Neither one of these duos able to really get much going. You see Rolling Carry, unfortunately gonna get eaten up by Whiplash on that one. Fear the Nub just wide on that touch, that shot attempt, but he's got the teammate and it's off the top of the crossbar, but Fear the Nub has the wrap. It's off the backboard. Whiplash tries to win that 50-50, but Rolling Carry does a nice job of keeping that one neutral. Great little tap from Fear the Nub to sneak that one underneath that offensive player, and now he's on the offensive himself, but it's Aerospace Wheeler coming all the way back, going coast to coast to defend that one. Whiplash, a nice little shot on net, but will be contested by Rolling Carry. This one's back at the 50-yard marker. See, Rolling Carry now trying to line this one up for a little offensive action, but it's another great touch from the Dream Makers to clear that one downfield. Looks like Fear the Nub tried to go for the demo there, but unfortunately ended up tangled in that net. And here we'll see if Whiplash can get something going. Fortunately, Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler have some ironclad defense at this point. Aerospace Wheeler off the backboard, going to be just high to score that leading goal, but he's got a second attempt here, but it's a great save from Fear the Nub, and now can he get some offense going? I believe he's just a little bit low on boost, but here we have Rolling Carry back on defense, attempting to get this clear. Whiplash gonna go up and over that ball, unfortunately. So now it's all on Fear the Nub to keep this offense alive. Has a touch, has a little pop-up. Whiplash has it as well off the backboard, but Fear the Nub gonna go wide as we hit the 1 minute remaining mark. And it's Rolling Carry trying to get his offense going, but that one is going just to the right. Tries to wrap back around with the fresh boost, but is gonna get in a little fender bender by Fear the Nub as he's taking offense into his own hands yet again. Slows it down, picks up that boost. Does he have the backup from the teammate? It's a good little touch to recenter that one, but it's Aerospace Wheeler the defense to get that one towards the blue net. Thankfully, Fear the Nub with that boost pickup was able to hustle back onto defense, and now we have 30 seconds remaining and it's still tied up at 2s. Fear the Nub now gets the pop-up, tries to get the second touch but doesn't need it. The hat trick, and the lead will go to the Dream Makers.
And just in the nick of time here, just 22 seconds left. It's the third for Dream Makers. The hat trick, you mentioned it. Fear the Nub again. Look at that point differential. You don't usually call it out, but 717 for Fear the Nub. He is really doing it all right now. 3 goals, 2 saves, 5 shots, and potentially the game winner there if the blue side can just hold on. What a comeback this would be. But one more press here from Rolling and Arrow as the shot comes off the back wall. Arrow on net, but the big save. Fear the Nub gets another one, and this may be in. If he can put it on, may not need to, though, as the ball will fall. Dream Makers complete the comeback.
Yeah, and a hard-fought comeback as well. I think, you know, talking about just how much these players have really elevated their game. Fear the Nut being able to go down 0-2 at the start, make the comeback with the hat trick, on his own, definitely kind of setting himself apart from the competition in a bit here, showing us that he can really do it all, and teams really need to start focusing on shutting him down if they want to be successful here.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, it's kind of funny. We expected we'd talk about him, of course, winning the previous event, but he's definitely making us look good right now, as he was the player to look out for definitely coming into this match. And here he is, just absolutely putting on a show in that first game. And it really didn't look like it the way that we saw Rolling and Arrow come out. They had a lot of offensive pressure, got that early 2-0 lead, but just couldn't hold on. And a lot of that was obviously the pressure from Fear the Nub. Just really good. The shots absolutely piling up. They were going to fall eventually.
Yeah, so here we are again, best of 3 in our semifinals. So the Dream Makers might make their dreams a reality and move on to the grand finals here if they can put a lid on this one. I gotta say, it's impressive how Fear the Nub has that flexibility to really come out with a different teammate here and then find his role in that team as well. And I think that's really what's setting him apart. It's just his ability to kind of gel with anyone. So we have a demo, however, coming through from Rolling Carry, so Whiplash going to be put on the sidelines just a bit. We'll spawn back into this one. Here comes Fear the Nub. A 50, though, one strongly in the orange team's favor, but as we see, Fear the Nub, they definitely fear him out here on the pitch. We saw one member, forget who it was, might have been Rolling Carry, rolling back onto defense just because they're anticipating those touches from Fear the Nub to come through and start getting aggressive. But here we have this midfield play, going to be contested by Aerospace Wheeler. Ball is up and into the orange corner now at this point. Whiplash trying to get a little touch, just get this one into his teammates' hands, and he manages to do that. Fear the Nub tries to come through with the aerial play, but is going to get stuffed by some great orange team defense.
And we still see Fear the Nub, the one driving the offense for the Dream Makers. It has definitely been the blue side with the offense early in this game number 2. But now Aerospace is going to have a chance, but not enough, not across. Fear the Nub back in time to kick that to the corner. And Whiplash right now just needs to follow up and keep an eye on Fear the Nub, try to get open for those rebound opportunities.
Ooh.
And and they may just get a little lucky, like that goal right there from downtown.
Yeah, that's net to net, Samael. Look at this one. I mean, a great attempt there from Rolling Carry. I mean, a couple extra millimeters on that one. I think he gets the touch to get that save, but just a great on-target clear from Fear the Nub, and it connects. So Dream Maker's going to be up 1-0 at the start of this one, but it's been hard fought, and we're already almost 2 minutes through in this game, and definitely not as score-heavy as our first one. Whiplash, tries to get a little touch there, but Rolling Carries there with some great defense to knock that one off target. It's a pass over to Aerospace Wheeler. This one's at the net, and Fear the Nub tries to get the touch, but the shot has too much zip, so we're tied up at 1.
Yeah, shot coming from the other side of half, just like the previous goal. This one's in as well, as the big clear is catching the defense off guard early in this game, and we haven't seen a lot of midfield play, so you'd expect that you're going to see that sort of counter those big clears downfield just to relieve pressure. And in both teams' case, they've led directly to a goal, as now we're tied up yet again. We got 3 minutes to play, back even. And for, I think, the orange side, that is a massive, massive goal, because obviously momentum was tilting more and more in Dream Maker's favor. But, they're going to get a little bit of that momentum back as Fear the Nub goes up and over the defense, carries it in.
I love that out of Fear the Nub too. My concern with the Dream Makers was that they were going to start getting a little bit desperate, because they've really been contested here in this series, but by that goal, by that determination, I think the Dream Makers setting themselves up, taking some of that pressure off, giving themselves just at least that 1 goal breathing room might be enough that they can settle in here. But of course we know that Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler are not going to let their feet off the gas, continuing to press forward here. Ball now in the orange side, though. Both members of the orange team back onto defense, trying to get this clear, but Fear the Nub continuously in the way, causing havoc for this orange team, just making it tough to get that offense that we saw early on in game number 1 started. And another touch, the 2-man defense, though, you can see the adjustments that Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler have had to make, and that is sending 2 men back onto defense, and that's really slowed down their offense, allowing Dream
they
Makers
haven't
to
had a
get
choice.
things going. Yeah.
Honestly, the way Fear the Nub's playing right now, he's pressing them back, and I really think right now for Rolling and Arrow, their only real chance is what we saw on their first goal, that transition attack, that counter attack. If they can hit Dreammakers back when Fear the Nub is deep in the zone, they might be able to get another goal out of it. But other than that, Fear the Nub just everywhere right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just doing it all, really kind of filling in those gaps that his team needs from moment to moment. That flexibility, again, coming into play and just making things tough for Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler. This one's, however, centered on net, but just slightly behind the ball for Aerospace Wheeler, so not going to be able to get that shot attempt off. We'll try to recenter and refocus this offensive attempt. So another touch going to be coming through, but Whiplash is sitting waiting for it. A little bit of a mistouch here. Might be an opportunity for the orange team. We will have to see. That one's on center, and it's going to be carried right over Whiplash by Aerospace Wheeler. A great little teamwork play there.
Yeah, and a really smart play there from Aerospace Wheeler as well, not forcing that first shot, using the backboard to get the rebound as well. And you saw a diving Fear the Nub in the net. He tries to pre-jump, tries to guess, but he's out of boost, out of gas, doing everything he can, but unfortunately can't get that one. And now we're tied yet again. Just a little bit over a minute to go, getting down to the nitty-gritty here, especially for this orange team who've clawed their way back into this game. But this is their moment. They don't want to go down 0-2 in the series.
Yeah, at this point, looking nearly identical to game number 1, 2-2 with a minute left to play. But Aerospace Wheeler is on the offense here, but Fear the Nub able to get back on defense, get that nice little save, and hopefully get this clear here. Tosses it over to Whiplash, but he's going to opt to get back onto defense, try to contest this 50-50, pops it up. We'll see if Fear the Nub gets aggressive or sits back on defense. Another little pop-up into this blue side corner, and you have Aerospace Wheeler on the hunt. This could be the goal, but it's a huge save from Fear the Nub.
How did he keep that out? It was a mistake. The ball just left on a silver platter there, but then he takes it away, almost like he's playing with the offense of the other side. It's Fear the Nub. He gets another clear to the side. That's 4 saves to go with the 2 goals. Yet again, just putting up crooked numbers all over the board, but they are facing a ton of offense. Gonna need another save here. Can't get it. Rolling Carry finally gets it through on a 3rd attempt out center. The orange side gets the lead.
And that can unfortunately happen, you know, in those final moments. You think, okay, we're going to go to overtime. We're going to have another kickoff, but Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler utilize that brief little lapse to secure that goal to take the 3-2 lead. And now blue team has a few seconds to get a tying goal and force the overtime. Ball has to stay up off the ground, and it won't do that. So we're tied up at 1s.
Yeah, and best of 3, I was a little misleading even when I said you don't want to go down 0-2. Well, yeah, you don't want to go down 0-2 in a best of 3 because then you're not going to play any more games. That means, that means you're done.
I mean, to be fair, you're correct, right? You're
really
100% right.
You really don't want to go down 0-2, right? But Rolling an Arrow, they knew that they had to get some goals there to get back into this game. They did just that. They complete a similar comeback that we saw from the Dreammakers in that first game, and you really got to love the fight from both of these teams, and you love the fact that they are getting used to each other. I think for each of these teams, they've got a different journey to figure out how to play the best Rocket League they can with each other, but we can see it on the field. They're figuring things out, and on one side, you got Fear the Nub, obviously. He's just driving everything, carrying the offense. And on the other side, I think we've got a more balanced attack for Rolling an Arrow. It's going to be real interesting to see which of these two teams comes out on top here in this best of 3 as we enter into the final 3rd game.
Yeah, I love the little adjustment from Rolling an Arrow as well. Just sending 2 back on defense, saying, you know, we're just going to get possession of the ball and move out from there versus trying to set up those midfield passing plays, because that was allowing Fear the Nub to have all those openings that we saw. And yeah, a little bit of frustration out there. He did get that goal to take the 2-1 lead, but Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler just kind of marching forward at a steady drumbeat allowed themselves to get back into this one. So now we have the decider, game number 3 in our first semifinal, to see who will be moving on to the grand final. Of course, Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler, kind of the balanced attack, like you said, and a lot of offense versus defense on the Dreammakers, with Fear the Nub kind of leading the offensive charge and then making a few saves as well, but having Whiplash kind of be that stalwart back on defense. Little early shot attempt, not going to be productive for the orange team, and Whiplash going to be defending the net as Fear the Nub tries to get things going on offense. Aerospace Wheeler is up for this one, sending it over to the blue side, picking up some boost on the way to make sure he is juiced up if an opportunity arises, but a little bit of a missed opportunity, missed touch is going to send this one to the net, and Fear the Nub strikes first in game number 3.
And how many times have we seen this where Fear the Nub has an open look on net? He's going to put it on. You know he is. You got to have someone back. Unfortunately, both Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler caught on the same side of the field. Neither can get back in time. And it's another goal for Fear the Nub. He has scored every goal for the Dreammakers so far in this series. And he's looking for another one here. Up over top.
Oh!
It is in. Nearly saved by Aerospace Wheeler, but not enough. Bar down. 2-0 Dreammakers.
This kind of feels like the grand finals from qualifier number 1, where when Fear the Nub just wants to end the game, you know, it was close, it was back and forth, and all of a sudden it's like, now we're going to hit the 7-goal limit, we're going to move on. So perhaps he's just a little bit more dialed in, wants to be the repeat offender in the grand finals, continue that little legacy he's got going here in qualifier number 2, but we'll have to see. The 2-goal lead is kind of the biggest spread we've seen so far, but it's Rolling Carry answering right back to get us into a familiar position from game number 2.
Yeah, and familiar in the fact that these 2-goal leads, they don't hold up long, do they? As we see an immediate response here from Rolling and Arrow. And I was just going to talk about how good the vision is from Fear the Nub, but unfortunately it was his mechanics there that kind of let him down in the corner, and everything fell apart there in a hurry as the lead is cut in half here for Dreammakers, and now we're seeing more come out. Oh, that one slips through. We're tied in a hurry.
You see all the badges that he got in the corner just for that one? what an amazing shot there out of the orange team to, like you said, those 2-goal leads do not last a long time, and with just about a minute we've got 4 goals scored and 2 leads lost, so all tied up at 2s. Rolling Carry, and get this touch on the midfield. No boost, so going to play this one a little bit conservatively. Get back on defense, pick up a couple of boost pads on the way, and be ready for that touch to get the offense going. Here we see a similar play call out of Aerospace Wheeler, and he's right there for this one, sending this one to the corner. And it's another goal for the orange team as they take the lead over the Dreammakers.
And they are really finding their mark, are Rolling an Arrow, picking their spots when they attack the zone, and it's working out marvelously here in this game number 3. Such a crucial moment for them to have what looks like figured out the Dreammakers and their defense right now, because Rolling an Arrow waiting back, looking for that counter. Like I said, as soon as they beat Fear the Nub, they have the confidence to send both forward on Whiplash. It's worked out time and again, but now here's Whiplash getting in the offense, sneaks up, puts a good shot on, forcing a save from Rolling Carry. And it's Fear the Nub who's the one back on defense there on the back wall, slows it down. Will clear up and over. Rolling Carry one-on-one with Aerospace Wheeler. He will charge in. Fear the Nub wins the 50, but Rolling Carry in the corner will regain, and we play on.
Yeah, it's really tough, I think, for kind of the Dreammakers with the style that they've, you know, seen success with in that first game, where it's kind of like Fear the Nub, I'm going to be on offense, Whiplash, you hold down the defensive end. That allows Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler to always know where the attacks are going to be coming from, and it's going to be coming from Fear the Nub, whereas if you're Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler, they're both kind of sharing the ball, sharing those shot opportunities, and it makes it that much tougher for the Dreammakers to be on the defensive end of the pitch. But here we see Whiplash changing things up, tries to get the pass over to Fear the Nub. This one's popped up, centered on net. Can Whiplash get the wrap? Going to be just underneath that one, so it'll allow the orange team to get this cleared out. Not a lot of time, you know, left, about at that halfway mark, but again, like we've seen, these 1-goal leads can be very, very fragile. This blue team, a little bit of an offensive touch, a little bit of a messy touch there as a result. No clear winner on that 50-50, but it's Fear the Nub trying to get this one centered. Unfortunately, Whiplash was still in that corner, so not going to be able to get any offense going on that one, and that's going to allow Aerospace Wheeler an opportunity to extend the lead to 2.
And matching the biggest lead of the night here for any team, that 2-goal lead restored. It's Rolling an Arrow this time who've got it. They've got 2 minutes to keep it. And for Dreammakers, of course, they're going to have to start taking more and more chances. We really saw it there on that goal against. Whiplash getting involved in the offense, but that also meant they're letting up on the defense just a little. Here's Fear the Nub, though, looking to get it back off the wall, looking for that double. Nearly gets it through, but we see a save, and now Rolling Carry, he's rolling downfield with speed. As Fear the Nub is back, though, already, it will be cleared again, and we will restart. This is the start of every press, like you said. Fear the Nub really getting it started and seeing what we can get after that. It's going to be a tough road for them with 2 goals to get and just a minute 30 to play.
Yeah, tough couple of breaks too on these most recent offensive touches for the Dreammakers. Really, things just not bouncing their way. And here we have Rolling Carry going for a little bit of an aerial here, tries to get the pinch towards the net, but has the teammate with the follow-up, but it's a great touch from the blue squad to keep that one neutral. Fear the Nub, full tank of boost, but it's a great contest from Aerospace Wheeler to take that one away from him. He's not done just yet, tries to make something happen here. 1 minute left to play, 2 players on defense, and it's a great save from Aerospace Wheeler.
Yeah, getting back with speed. He had that back check was the only thing going to keep that ball out. Aerospace Wheeler gets it, nearly gets the goal downfield as well. Rolling Carry just going to sit in net, try to play defense. He thinks he can wait it out and nearly pays for it as Fear the Nub almost gets it through, but it goes up and over on that 50. 35 to go, the pressure on from both teams, and Orange are content with sitting back on this lead, and that means Fear the Nub gonna get a couple of more chances at the net. Oh, that one almost in, just a little too wide, and going back the other way, but no, it's not in either. Oh, yes it is.
Two heartbreakers for the Dreammakers, really. 2 great attempts from Fear the Nub. If either one of those connected, we're looking at a much different game, but they kind of had to commit at that point given the state of the series, and unfortunately that allows Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler to find another goal, extend the lead to 3. We've only got 16 seconds left to play, and now the Dream Makers need a miracle. What can Fear the Nub do here? Woo! Tries to center this one up. Wishflash has the touch, but it's going to be just wide. Fear the Nub not done yet, trying to keep this one going, but unfortunately, clock is going to expire. It's going to be Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler moving on to our grand finals today.
And a well-deserved win for this team as they will knock out the previous winner in Fear the Nub. And for Rolling and Arrow, that was a good team win. You look at the composition of these teams, and we talked about that coming in, how the first 2 qualifiers, we have the randomized team pairings, which is certainly an exciting and interesting way to do this, right? Because you give these teams a chance to play with one another a little bit, get a feel for one another, and we also get to see how they do figuring out not only the play style of their opponent, but also what's going to work best as individuals as well. And I think, unfortunately for Blue, the skill difference there between the teammates might have just been a little bit much, which meant their style a little one-dimensional, easy to read, and by the end of that, we saw on the other side, they had a pretty good understanding of how to attack, and that led to a lot of goals.
Yeah, Blue team kind of came in with a game plan, and we saw it work in the first game of the series, but then as soon as the Orange team figured it out, it was tough for Fear the Nub and Whiplash to adjust. But we have someone else who I want to get their thoughts on. Lauren, what did you think of that one?
I think that was a fantastic way to kick off our second qualifier. I mean, it was so close until the end of the third of the best of 3. I mean, phenomenal performance across the board from all of our competitors in the first semifinals. But that's just the first one, okay? We're going to be sending it to a quick break, but when we come back, our second semifinals matchup of the day. Don't go anywhere.
Don't let anyone tell you there are things we cannot change. We've done hard things before. We'll face hard things again, but we're doing it. Thousands of people will live simply because a whole bunch of people in here keep making medicine better. So if anyone ever tells you there's no other way, don't listen. We find a way. Mount Sinai.
All right, everybody, welcome back to our Adaptive Esports tournament. Glitter Explosion and Frank here hanging out with you guys all day, and we just watched the first of our 2 semifinals matches, and it was so close, Frank.
Yeah, a really intense back and forth between the Dream Makers and Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler. Unfortunately, Dream Makers did fall in that final third decider game, so they're going to fall off to the consolation side of the bracket, with Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler moving on to the grand final. But of course, we have a second semifinal to get through here,
which means that we're now going to be looking down at the bottom side of the bracket. It will be Ventison and Mango Slade,
correct,
I can see correctly, and then Paralyzed Shooters down at the other end. And we said this before, okay? Different teams this time around. Things are shaken up a little bit, so we can see that both of those teams in their quarterfinals 2-0, so this could be a very even match.
Yeah, gonna have to see just kind of what they come out with. Again, with that first semifinal, it was definitely like there was game plans in the first game of the series, but then that game plan didn't change, and that allowed their opponents to really dial it in and kind of close out that series. But some of those names familiar on that list, kind of similar to that first semifinal. I know Mongo Slade has competed with us here before, but you know, it's kind of a toss-up, like you said, with both of those being 2-0s. It's who's coming out with the pedal to the metal a little bit more.
Which just means it's going to be yet another exciting match, which also means it is time for you and Samael to take this thing away.
Sounds like a plan. Samael, how you doing, man? You excited for our second semifinal here?
Oh yeah, we've already got the maximum number of games so far played, and I would like to see that continue throughout the night, as I hope this best of 3 also goes 3, and then yeah, why not a 5-game series in the grand finals to just close it out? That's definitely what we need. And I saw the script back behind the camera, and that's actually what we got planned, I swear. But no, I mean, I think these two teams, like Lauren said, going to be extremely competitive. That's a good way to get to that third game, is obviously even match teams. And hopefully we'll see that. We've seen a lot of competition from all of the competitors so far in this tournament. I wasn't here for the last one. This one has been fabulous. Everyone who's been here has been showing up, so I'm loving it.
I will tell you, the competition has for sure been elevated across the board, and I kind of like the grab bag, the mixed bag, not knowing what to expect going into some of these matchups with the new teams, the new names, the new faces, and the new gameplay styles. But it's, right off the corner, unfortunately. Pop Clutch will be popping that one just a little bit wide, and that'll allow a handicapped from our previous qualifier to try to get some offense going here. And we have Michael up with an aerial play, tries to get that one down and over the defenders to bounce in, but has to hustle back onto defense. Here's handicapped yet again, another touch into this corner, tries to get the flick, but it's going to be a little bit of a tight race right underneath the net, so Mongo Slade going to come in to clean that one up.
Yeah, and really this is all handicap right there. Not only does he get the assist as the ball goes out center, but then a big bump as well to take out the last defender and allow Mongo to slide it in, as the first goal goes to the blue side. Even though Paralyzed Shooters, they came out strong. He had a real big shot early from Pop Clutch, which, like you said, just popped it up a little too high. And unfortunately for them, they're going to play with a deficit. But oh man, they're trying to give it back, and they do.
Man, Pop Clutch making up for that previous little missed touch there on this play. The double tap off that sidewall, but he cuts that one back to tie us up at ones. Great play out of Pop Clutch.
Yeah, good follow and good read. I mean, obviously, anytime a mistake's made, you want to be there to jump on it, and that's exactly what we saw there. And it's immediately the tie game. So any sort of lead, any sort of momentum you thought was going to be there is not, and there's the momentum on the other side, as we see a real slick goal here coming out of Michael. Chips it up over Mongo and then slides it through to the left side. 2-1, Paralyzed Shooters.
Yeah, I think we saw some of that momentum. They tried to get that handicap back onto that one, but didn't have just the gas going forward to get that save, so that's going to allow the Paralyzed Shooters to throw another one up on the board. Taking this one a little bit slow here for the blue team. They look to get some of this offense started, but Pop Clutch is there to try and contest, but it's a heavily 150 in the blue side's favor. Handicap going to set this one up towards the middle, but it's going to go into the opposite orange corner. Now Mongo tries to get this one back into the orange side, but unfortunately going to come up just a little bit short. However, orange team will do him the favor, recenter this one, and a great recovery there to center that one, but it's Pop Clutch with an attempt from downtown right off the left side post. However, Means that one will not find the net, but the pass over to Michael just may. Off the backboard, another touch, gonna recenter this one. Does Michael have the wrap? Sees that one is not connecting, tries to come back around, but a little bit of a miscommunication as Pop Clutch says, I want that goal, I'm gonna score that one, so it's 3-1 now in favor of the Paralyzed Shooters.
Yeah, and then again, just an open look there from Pop Clutch, and he's really making up for that early play in the game where he did everything but score. Here he's doing scoring and more as he gets 2 straight here for Paralyzed Shooters. They've extended their lead here, and for this blue side, they've got to find a way to regain right now because they're struggling to get out of the zone. They're facing a lot of offense, and they're doing it yet again here as another play out of the corner from Pop Clutch. Going to spin this defense around, and that means boost out of the tanks. And we see if Venison can get it over Michael. He cannot. Mongo's there as well, but oh, he cuts too early, and Michael is there to respond. 4-1 Paralyzed Shooters.
Love that. Michael with the pass over to Michael is going to secure that 4th goal for the Paralyzed Shooters. And Samael, this might be a case where that 7-goal limit comes into effect as the Orange team has shown no signs of slowing down, and Venison and Mongo Slade just struggling to match pace with the Orange squad right now. We have Pop Clutch, knows that he needs to get back on defense, sees that play out of handicap, and that one gonna find the net to take this one within 2.
Yeah, and this is a really good play here. Just has that look, has Pop Clutch and Michael bunched up, recognizing it, using all the boost in the tank to get up and over and get that goal through. That goal was so needed from this Ventuson Mongo team. They were doing everything they could just to get out of their end, and it looked like the game was going to get away from them. If they get that goal to get back in it, they'll need a lot more of that, and they need to make a save right now as the ball's kicked out center. There is Venison. He gets that clear after he kicked the ball right to Michael, and Michael has done such a good job shooting so far. That is the last player you want to do that to, but now we're back down the other way, and it's an individual play yet again. Another goal coming from Venison. He does it to him again.
And doesn't even need the boost to make this play happen. Michael just caught on that wrap, doesn't get up in time. That allows Venison to find the net, take this one down to a 1-goal lead for the Paralyzed Shooters. See how this kickoff goes. It's going to be in favor of Pop Clutch as that one's almost centered for himself off of that corner, but thankfully Venison is there to at least contest it. Michael going to throw this one over to Pop Clutch, though, who pops it right up and into the net for the hat trick.
What a cut from Michael right here. Cuts the ball to the center, straight out to Pop Clutch, who's ready and waiting. That 1-2 play works every time in twos if the opponent's not there, and they were not. That pass was too quick out center there for Michael, as we're really seeing some charismatic play from this team as they are looking for more as well. Right off the kickoff, looking for some more shots. They've already got 9. And they could slow it down as well. That 2-goal lead affords them to do that. Just such control coming out of the Orange team. And they have been doing everything to keep this blue team back for almost the entirety of this game.
Yeah, Venison and Mongo Slade doing a good job trying to get back into this one. But it's really, Michael and Pop Clutch just kind of being on the same page, not really needing to worry too much, having themselves set each other up for those passing plays. But Venison tries to get the offense going at this point in time, gets caught in the net just a little bit, knows he needs to potentially get back on defense here as Pop Clutch is approaching their net with that ball. A nice little touch to at least throw off some of that offense from the Paralyzed Shooters, but it's Michael here. Tries to get this one, but it's going to go just wide left. A recenter from that corner, and Pop Clutch is up in the air, but going to just send this one to the corner, trying to reset the offense. Venison, however, wins that 50, but will be sent now into the orange side corner. Stuck on the wall just a little bit, trying to get back down to contest, and that just might open up the net for Pop Clutch, but a great recovery from Venison means that that goal will be saved for now. Less than a minute left to play in regulation, and Michael trying to find some offense for himself. Pop Clutch just hanging back on defense, trying to keep this ball on the blue side of the pitch. Will that open up an opportunity here? Mongo Slade at that midfield line, gets a nasty little bump though that's going to throw him off from that little play he was trying to make towards his teammate. The demo onto Venison might mean that this is an easy goal for Michael, and 6 goals now to 3 means Paralyzed Shooters are set up for success either way.
Yeah, and it's Pop Clutch with that big demo there, taking out half the team in twos. Obviously, a demo opens up almost the entirety of the field as it's a 2v1 immediately, and Paralyzed Shooters take immediate advantage. And they have really ran away for this 3-goal lead late. Take a miracle, I think, here for Venison and Mongo to get back in. They got to be thinking about game 2 right now and thinking about the adjustments they have to make. And that's going to do it there with our 13 seconds. No, that is it. This game is over.
I was going to say, it's either the 7-goal lead or the clock. The Paralyzed Shooters kind of set themselves up for success either way there. And I got to say, Michael and Pop Clutch definitely looking like not only are they on the same page, but kind of similar to what we saw out of Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler, just both offensive and defensive threats at the same time.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's twos. That's the name of the game in twos. You have got to have that balance. We saw in the previous series where if it is just even a little bit imbalanced, your opponent is going to recognize that. And of course, at any time, you may have to get back on defense, even if you're the one up on offense. It's a constant rotation, really the definition of a rotation in twos, as you're working consistently with your teammate to try to cover the entirety of the field. It's tough to do, but that team game is definitely what's going to get you into the grand finals. We saw it previously in our other semifinal, and right now, Paralyzed Shooters showing that they are that 1-2 punch that looks pretty good so far as we head into game number 2.
Of course, the team that went up early in our previous series ended up falling as, the opposite team made those adjustments. So we'll have to see if Venison and Mongo Slade can kind of sing a similar tune here as our first semifinal. But I think, Michael and Pop Clutch, just the way they were really working together, some of those cuts, passing plays is tough for anyone to defend. So I think Venison and Mongo Slade really going to have to step it up on both ends of the pitch if they want to compete at this point. But of course, we'll have to see what game 2 of this best of 3 has in store for us. But I think either way, it's going to be exciting because some of those plays Michael and Pop Clutch were pulling off were just fun to watch.
No doubt about it. I mean, we saw it in the first 5 seconds of the game. Even though Pop Clutch didn't get that goal, we saw the type of plays that could be made. And I think, honestly, if we see those goals start to fall more and more, this series may go 2-0 in a hurry. But at the same time, obviously, all bets are off here as we enter into this second game. There's a reason that you play them, and I'm not writing off anybody just yet, as we know those adjustments will be made on the field. But keep your eye on the orange team as they are in the driver's seat right now, sitting at that 1-0 lead in this best of 3.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Sometimes we see that offense open up as they start to feel a little bit more comfortable now that they have the game lead over their opponents. But right now, it's the offense already getting started for the Paralyzed Shooters. This one is up. Michael trying to get that second touch. It's going to be off the backboard. Pop Clutch, though, playing this one patient. Doesn't want to get too aggressive. Open up that net for their opponents because we saw Venison, Soren trying to get that one. However, that'll open up a small little opportunity here for Pop Clutch to get the light touch. And the first goal is on the board for the Paralyzed Shooters.
And even though all this time in front of the net, it was really a play just a moment ago when Mongo, cheating up, tries to get in on that and really goes for a quick transition. And twos, anytime you can step up and make a quick transition, it's going to be a big chance at a goal. But unfortunately for Mongo, can't get a touch on the ball, and instead it's back down the other way, and Pop Clutch converts. Here's now Pop Clutch yet again. He's got his teammate Michael out center. There's Michael as well, tries to cut over, but the pass not there. Can't get a touch. But the orange team has shown that they have a penchant for offense, a penchant for keeping this blue team back. That has been the storyline so far. They maxed out with the 7 goals in game number 1. They're looking to do it again, but no. Oh, the missed rotation here for Pop Clutch. It's going to sneak through. We're tied.
Yeah, nice opportunity, kind of recognition from Venison there. Sees Michael, uses that jump. We had Pop Clutch. Looked like he was going for boost, just didn't realize the touch that Venison had on the ball and how centered it was on the net. So him just being slow on that wrap allows our blue team to get on the board, tie us up at 1s, but we've only had a minute pass of regulation here. We'll have to see what the orange team has for us. Michael going to be popping that one up, but nothing really coming of that one. Does have the regain on that touch, throws it over through the corner and in. Paralyzed Shooters, just like that, getting the lead back.
Michael weaving through the defense here, goes wide on Venison and sneaks it through. Venison caught in no man's land, wondering, do I stay, do I go, can I turn? I can't, I'm stuck. Oh no, the goal's in. I got to imagine that's about how he was feeling right there as Michael makes it look easy, just driving it through. and putting it home. Paralyzed Shooters, they're going to score their goals, that's for sure. That's one thing they've done. They have put the goals up, so we're going to need to see goals on the other side as well. The only chance for Blue, I think, is if this is a shootout.
Yeah, I think Venison just needs to get that offense going. He's got some decent support coming through from Mongo Slade, but I like what Michael, just to touch on that play previously, all other attempts from that corner, he has tried to set up pop clutch, so Venison just expecting that, but Michael throwing the curveball at him allows him to get that lead, so really great awareness from the Paralyzed Shooters. Here's pop clutch on defense. Going to be setting this one up. A bump does come through. Venison is trying to get back on defense, but the orange team is going to be able to set themselves up for another 2-goal lead as Michael finds another goal here.
And Michael really showing how if you pick your spots, you can really do some damage in twos. It's all about finding the moment where you can step up and strike. That's exactly what Michael's doing. He beats 2 deep in his zone, and then the good control as well to get around on that ball. It's really not as easy as it looks, always getting around in the ball and getting that shot on net, but Michael with a good job to corral that turn and fire that shot through as well. Sometimes the open net, the hardest to hit in Rocket League, but Michael, no problem for him. He's got 2 goals, 5 shots, and an even bigger lead here now for Paralyzed Shooters. But oh man, the defense nearly giving it up as the ball comes up over the goal mouth, but it is not in, as the defense rarely tested here for Paralyzed Shooters, but they're up to the task, and now it looks like they may get the one back on a pop from Michael. Needs another touch, it's in.
Man, hat trick already coming through from Michael just at the halfway marker of this game. With this momentum on the Paralyzed Shooters side, it might be another 7-goal victory for them. I think Venison and Mongo Slade have had some nice shot attempts. They've been able to get some of this offense going, but just Paralyzed Shooters kind of being so quick to the ball, being able to elevate that pace of play, I think it's just kind of caught them off guard, as Michael, right like that, going to be throwing another one up on the board with a nice little pass from Pop Clutch. And Michael going side to side to cut that one back and in is nothing short of impressive.
Yeah, and he was going to get that. We've seen him make these shots time in and time out. 7 shots on net, 4 goals to save for it, and Pop Clutch, they're good, really good play with 0 boost to pop up and beat the last defender as well. Twos is just that type of game. It's really just like ones. I mean, you're opening up the field just from one beat, and we're seeing that over and over again here from Paralyzed Shooters as they're just beating their man, winning the 50, and then off to the races after that. Got 5, need 2 more to get to that 7. Is they're going to be the first team to go back-to-back with 7 and just dispatch their opponent down into that 3rd place match. And boy, do they look good. And I'm not betting against them at this point.
I wouldn't even want to play against them, Samael. That's how dominant they're looking right now. They are in full control and really just biding their time. Again, similar situation to that first game where both the clock and the goals are on their side. It's either clock's going to wind down or they're going to hit 2 goals in a minute and about 30. So they're setting themselves up for success for sure. All but walked on the plane for that ticket to the grand finals. We'll have to see. Now Michael, another open net, going to be an easy roll in for him. There's 1 goal away with 1:11 left to play in regulation. Paralyzed Shooters looking strong here in this semifinal.
Yeah, looking really good. Looking like they're going to be that team going up into the grand final as we potentially have our matchup. It's 1:11. We're not done yet, but they want that 7. You can feel it right now with the way they're pushing. 9 shots, 6 goals. Everything going right for the orange team. They're looking for more. Here's Michael, the driver of the offense. He's got 5 already. Can't get the 6th. Instead, it's going to be Venison downfield. We're not going away just yet.
No, and I love to see that out of the blue team, right? That never say die attitude. Venison able to work that one around on Pop Clutch. You see him trying to get back onto defense, but Venison just nice and out ahead of that play. We've got less than a minute left to play. Paralyzed Shooters just need 1, however, to move on to that grand final. Michael going to send this one over to the corner. Some defense from the blue team set up, but it's a passing play across the middle. Not going to find the net, however. Michael, though, able to get back on defense. Venison trying to find that pinch towards the net. Mongo is there, but doesn't have the touch to get that shot towards that goal. And unfortunately, that overcommitment from Venison and Mongo Slade going to allow the paralyzed shooters to go back-to-back 7-goal victories to move on to the grand final.
And who else to cap it off but Michael? 6 goals for his effort, and what an effort it was. Pop Clutch, a very good performance as well, so don't want to go without mentioning his name, but Michael really showed up, especially in that second game. I think he recognized what he could do as an individual in twos, and obviously if you can get those beats, like I'm saying, win big 50s, that just is so much room in front of you after you do that. And he wasn't just beating one, he was actually getting the ball by the entire team often at times, and so that just meant goals dropping. You mentioned back-to-back 7-goal effort, just a phenomenal performance, and I think we can say for sure we've got our 2 best teams in the grand finals.
Yeah, I think without a shadow of a doubt, these 2 teams, and also like the most balanced as well, which I think is going to make for an interesting grand final where, you know, it's not so one-dimensional. I'm going to go on offense, you're going to go on defense. Both of these squads able to play kind of both sides and pretty well. I will say Michael and Pop Clutch, I think, had a little bit of that flash factor where, you know, some of the mechanics might be a little bit elevated, but of course, you can't count out Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler because they took down one of our previous champions. So, you know, they clearly have what it takes to compete, and I think this is setting us up for a nice grand final. But before we get into that grand final, I want to see what Lauren thought about that semifinal.
Okay, that was a really, really good matchup, especially because when you consider the fact that both of those teams came into the semis off of 2-0 wins in the quarterfinals. So it really was anybody's game, but the performance that we saw out of Michael and Pop Clutch was just incredible.
Yeah, I think they're really performing kind of in that flexible nature of our other team in the grand final. So I'm expecting it to be a really close matchup between those 2 teams. But of course, we're just going to have to see what the grand final holds.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting, to say the least, when we get to the grand finals. But before we do that, we're going to send it to a quick break. So don't go anywhere, because when we come back, that grand finals matchup is going to be incredibly interesting. So stick around. Welcome back to the Adaptive Esports tournament. If you've been hanging out with us all day, then you know what's going on, but we are about to head into our grand finals matchup for our second qualifier here today. And Frank, these 2 teams are probably going to be really, really closely contested.
Yeah, and upsets on either side, right? Because we had Fear the Nub, of course, falling into that consolation bracket, and then Venison as well falling there, a previous participant in our qualifier number 1. So we kind of have both upsets, both teams looking really strong, really balanced on both offense and defense. I think it's going to be an exciting grand final.
I cannot wait to see how this plays out. I think we're going to have some very aggressive Rocket League action. And of course, grand finals, best of 5, as all of our finals are. So we've got a little bit more wiggle room maybe for a comeback if it's needed.
Yeah, and that was a big part of Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler's victory really was their ability to then get that download on their opponents and kind of start to pick them apart, piece them apart a little bit with exploiting some of those weaknesses in their gameplay. So yeah, if you add an extra game into that series, that allows that strength to shine a little bit more. Of course, then on the opposite end, we had Michael and Pop Clutch really speed running theirs, hitting the 7 goals to win marker in both of their games. So they're kind of at odds with each other, which I mean definitely makes for an interesting grand final.
That's why I am so excited to get into the action. So I hope that you and Samael are ready, because the game is ready. It's time to kick this thing off.
All right, Samael, I know I'm ready. I've been with you enough times now. I know that
you're
you're
ask
ready.
Me if I'm ready again, right? You're not
I already know you're
you
ready. I know you're ready. You're nothing but ready, and I'm definitely excited to get into this one. I think Michael and Pop Clutch, maybe a slight advantage just in their teamwork. They looked a little bit more on the same page, but I'm going to give a point to Rolling in Aerospace with just how they were able to pick apart that previous champion. So excited to see this one play out.
Yeah, and I think maybe a little bit more offense on one side. Obviously, one team just hitting the 14 goals in 2 game mark, so I guess we got that. And on the other side, that balanced defense, I think, as well, as they were looking for counters and things like that. But that might have been the type of team that we're playing as well on that Rolling and Arrow side, too. So we got a lot to learn ourselves as we enter into game number 1 of our grand finals, which is now a best of 5.
Yep, best of 5 coming your way, and it's Rolling Carry coming your way on the screen, getting this one centered up, but it's a clear down that right side of the pitch. Got a little touch from the paralyzed shooters, but great little defense from Aerospace Wheeler. This one is also on target, but it's Michael on his way back for a nice save. Now in his possession, but the 50-50. Rolling Carry gonna win that one out, but the setup from paralyzed shooters allows them to contest. Attempts to play this one off the sidewall, a loss 50-50, but a nice little bump out of Michael. Going to get himself possession of this one. Rolling this one over to the corner, picking up the boost and getting up in the air. What's he have for us? Makes it by one defender. Looks like he almost was going for the demo there, but his teammate Pop Clutch just playing this one safe. Back on their side of the pitch in that net, and thank goodness they did, because it was a great offensive play out of this blue squad, and it might be not done just yet, but Michael able to wrap back, knock that one wide, and get a nice little save, but kind of opposite of what I was expecting, if I'm being honest, going into this one. Blue team out to an aggressive start, and Michael and Pop Clutch just really being forced to play a little bit slower, a little bit safer back on defense, but we have this one centered up. Orange team both fighting for it, but that means that it's an open net. But unfortunately, that touch from Aerospace Wheeler is going to go just a little bit wide. Rolling Carry, however, able to get that one on net, but it's going to be cleared away. Pop Clutch now on the chase. Pops it up in the corner. Michael with the patient play, trying to get a read on which way Aerospace is going to be sending this one. Tries to find a little thread to get that one through. Not gonna go, however. Pop Clutch has another touch. It's up and out. That one knocked away somehow. Off that post is the third man for Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler.
Yeah, what a save there. Aerospace Wheeler, he's really been doing it all for the blue side. This time it's defense. When Rolling Carry was out of the net for the first time in this entire match, there was Aerospace Wheeler to get back and make a save. And it was really the first attack that we've seen from paralyzed shooters to get 2 shots on that effort, but neither go through. And what an interesting start to this first game, as really Rolling and Arrow relying on Aerospace Wheeler to do most everything on the offense, really 1v2ing as Rolling Carry was back to start this game. It was really working out, and then bam, paralyzed shooter back down the other way, nearly get it. They're looking for more as well. Here it is, but Aerospace Wheeler just in time gets in the way of Pop Clutch to keep that shot wide. We're gonna play on scoreless.
I think Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler really doing a nice job of deciding when to double commit to some of these defensive saves to kind of put a stop to paralyzed shooters' offense. To see if it works out here. The pop-up is going to go just up and wide to the left. Michael rolling back around into that corner will sneak away that boost, so that might slow down Rolling in Aerospace just a bit. Pop Clutch does have possession. Going to be a little bit of a missed touch there. I think he wanted to get that one more towards the net, a little bit more forward momentum. So They're going to have to regroup now. Michael with possession in the corner, manages to sneak it around one defender, but the shot from Pop Clutch, just off wide and right. But here we have Aerospace Wheeler, a nice little clear. Pop Clutch forced to come back onto defense. It's a shot from Aerospace Wheeler, and it's going to connect, and blue team finds themselves on the board first.
Aerospace Wheeler with enough time there. Pop Clutch just hesitates just a moment as he wonders in the corner what should he do. Eventually goes for it, but it's too late there. Can't catch up, and Wheeler gets over, puts that shot in. Finally, the first goal falls, and we're down almost to that minute mark. Ooh. But there it is, another one. We see no goals for so long, and now two back-to-back. We're back to tied. It's a face-off win here for Michael, and he slips it through. 1-1, we go.
Yeah, just a little bit of a pump fake from the paralyzed shooters there. I think you saw it, the defense rolling back into the net, trying to anticipate it. Just that little wiggle throws the defense off, allows paralyzed shooters to tie it up. We'll have to see if Rolling and Aerospace are shaken up by that at all with the quick response. Doesn't look to be the case, as they're right back trying to mount that offense. A good little shot attempt from Aerospace Wheeler. It's going to be defended by Pop Clutch. Pop Clutch now trying to get something going. A bit of an aerial carry. Michael going to be there with the follow-up. Aerospace Wheeler, however, is up to defend with a nice clear, and that's going to allow him to chase the ball down, get the second goal on the board for the blue team.
And it was a 1v2, but not where you'd expect. It's a 1v2 deep in Rolling and Arrow zone, but that means it's a double commit for paralyzed shooter. Both Michael and Pop Clutch go up. Aerospace Wheeler beats both to the ball, and then he is off to the races. Gets that late goal here, the second for him to lead the charge for his team. And now he's looking for another on transition yet again. Can he get it? It's just a little too wide, a little too soft, giving Michael an opportunity to get back around and keep themselves in this game. Can't get that though, and now Wheeler, yet again, he's facing Pop Clutch this time, just pops it up and over, and that's gonna be a shot. That's in. Takes it and makes it.
Aerospace Wheeler. The impressive mechanics on this play, pops it over Pop Clutch. He tries to do the backflip back onto defense. There's too much mustard on that ball. He's going to connect with the net with a vengeance. Blue team up by 2 now, and maybe this is a case where the paralyzed shooters have some bad habits carrying over from the previous series, where things they were able to get away with just not going to work against Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler. Here's Michael trying to make something of it with 5 seconds left to play, but Aerospace should be able to clear this one down. Might even put a little cherry on top in the final seconds here, but no, that one is going to touch the ground. It's going to be a blue team victory here in game number 1.
And their victory very similar actually to their previous semifinal performance, where they're very solid on defense. It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2 players attacking. They do a very good job of covering their defensive half as a team, and then they transition. Then they explode out of the zone, usually led by Wheeler coming out of the zone with big clears, and then immediately getting goals off of that, as that pressure from Wheeler really strong, and he has a lot of good control as well, which means he can pick apart the defense as he comes down the field. So for paralyzed shooter, you got to decide, are you going to challenge earlier, try to get in the face of Wheeler, try to figure it out? But the one thing is, when you're on offense, got to kind of keep your mind on the rear view and realize that you've got that goal behind you to defend as well.
Yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to is, paralyzed shooters were able to kind of go fully on the offensive in that previous series, and, it's just not going to work against Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler. So we'll have to see if they can kind of dial that in, make those adjustments here in the second game in this best of 5. But just with the way Aerospace Wheeler was really able to, I think, even elevate his gameplay from what we saw in that previous semifinal, I think it's going to be very even back and forth. Again, I think it really all hinges on if the paralyzed shooters can make those adjustments that they need to against what this blue squad is throwing at them.
Yeah, and I've been impressed with Aerospace Wheeler, how he's been able to 1v2 at times as well, especially to start that game. Even though he didn't get a goal really out of it, he took a full minute off of the clock really by himself against 2 defenders, which was really impressive as well. So we've seen that control, and we've seen what he can do when he gets a little momentum moving downfield. And for paralyzed shooters, they need some momentum of their own. We know they can put on goals, We've got to find a way to get that balanced attack while keeping an eye on defense, and this may be a struggle as this is the first time they've been tested like this on stream. A quick shot coming in there from Aerospace Wheeler to get us started. It is saved away, but again, we start with the blue side looking at offense.
Yep, we'll have to see how the dust settles on this play. It's a fight. The 50-yard line. Aerospace Wheeler going to get a touch towards that orange net. Tries to pop this one back towards center, but it's Pop Clutch getting a nice and sturdy clear against the blue team, but Rolling Carry hanging in that backfield. Able to slow down that paralyzed shooter offense. Aerospace also up in the air for that touch. It's a big bomb sent down by the orange team. Pop Clutch now able to find the net with a great pass from Michael. It's looking more like the team we saw in that previous semifinal.
And it wasn't just this feed for Michael, it's that touch just before that waterfalls down. It's so difficult to read as a defense, and we saw there was no touch, really no one even in the lane there for rolling an arrow, and Michael does a great job following, kicking it off the side wall, or the back wall, and then out center as well. We know what Michael can do. Man, he was such an influential part of that domination that we saw in the semifinals for this team, just putting up goal after goal right there. Was a big assist.
Yeah, and I wonder if it'll play out similarly to how, paralyzed shooters were able to just really kind of take the ball away from that main offensive player on the opposite team. And looking similar here, but a great recovery being made from the blue squad. Add a demo on top. Might be the blue team able to start to mount something here, but it's Michael with a touch towards the net. Aerospace Wheeler will be up for that one, but Pop Clutch off the respawn. Center that one on net, drop it down off the ceiling, tries to get his tires on the floor to make the contest, and while that ball is centered by Rolling Carry, it's paralyzed shooters now on the offensive early. A stark difference to what we saw in that first game of the series. Pop Clutch, however, can't get up high enough to get that touch, but thankfully, shot from the blue team going to go wide, and it's Michael recovering, getting it by that defender, and Michael on the board yet again. Paralyzed shooters definitely making those adjustments they needed to.
Yeah, Michael there staring down Rolling Carry, who's shadowing. He's got a lot of options, didn't have a lot of boost, but had momentum and speed, and just sneaks it through in the back door there. What a perfect shot placement coming there from Michael to extend the lead for his team. Really, Michael doing it all right now. Reminding me how Wheeler was 1v2ing the paralyzed shooter team, but this time it's Michael with all of the control, and the first touch coming out of the zone for paralyzed shooter has just been so good compared to rolling an arrow, who right now are struggling to get clears at time because of touches like that. Again, they give up the play, nearly give up a goal from it as Michael can't get it, goes a little bit wide, but rolling an arrow back again, yet again on defense.
Yeah, nice recovery, of course, but really those adjustments made, just kind of spreading things out a little bit more on that paralyzed shooter side, making sure they don't overcommit on those offenses, has really slowed down the blue team in Rolling Carry and Aerospace here. And Michael, of course, turning up the heat doesn't hurt either. It's here, 11 boost left in the tank, but has the pass over to Pop Clutch. That one going to go just wide right on the net. But Michael, with that recovery here, recognizes Rolling Carry, tries to get this one off the wall, set it up for his teammate. Maybe he can make a little shot attempt for himself here, but a double commit and contest from the paralyzed shooter is going to slow that one down. Has to win that 50, and it's one for the orange team, but with Pop Clutch having no boost left in the tank, he's going to have to do this one the hard way, as that boost was stolen away. A great heads-up play from the blue squad, and that'll set up Aerospace as well. Tries to get that shot knocked down, but it's Michael underneath, ready and waiting. A little bit of a mistouch there, but Aerospace will zoom through to take this one away, force the paralyzed shooters back onto defense. Thankfully, Pop Clutch is there for that rotation. Another play coming through. Now it's a 1v1 with Aerospace, Pop Clutch, but that one gonna float just a little bit more towards that midfield line to shut down that blue team offense. And it's Pop Clutch trying to carry this one coast to coast. Michael, a little bit off on that read, so now he's going to get back on defense himself, but the great little nudge with that ball towards that corner will disallow the blue team from getting on the board. And paralyzed shooters looking content to just kind of run this one down with that 2-goal lead, but a big goal here from the blue team could change that strategy up, as Aerospace Wheeler going to find the first goal here of this game.
Just a little too much power off that back wall from Pop Pop Clutch. He was looking to just end this, looking to get the third goal and complete this win. But you saw it goes wide, and when it does, it bounces right back downfield, right into the hands of both shooters for Rolling an Arrow. And it was just a matter of who was going to get that goal right there, as there was no one back. Michael up as well. So this is now an interesting situation, as Rolling an Arrow have an opportunity in this game, but this is not where they want to be. Back on defense, they got to get downfield. They do, as Wheeler gets it out as well, gets it past Pop Clutch. He's got a chance. Can he get it across here to Rolling Carey, who's ready and waiting? A little too hard, though. Feeds it to Michael, and instead we're downfield. Now they've just got to drop it. They do. We are tied in this series 1-1, as Paralyzed Shooters have responded, and they have done it on the back of Michael, as he is really looking good right now, doing a lot of good things. As I took my camera and I placed it on Michael at about the 2-minute mark, Frank, and I didn't have to leave it after that. And that's the vision that he has, and I love players like that who can allow me to just sit on them and watch what they're doing, and he's kind of that guy right now. And really one of the big things that I'm noticing is when Michael goes for a 50, he wins it. He's winning almost the majority, almost every one of his challenges. Literally, he's got to be sitting at like 80, 90% win rate on his challenges. And I mean, in twos, like I said before, you start winning 50s, I mean, now you're immediately in an odd man situation downfield.
Yeah, and it really feels like the Paralyzed Shooters, too, doing a much better job in that second game of picking those battles. So when he's going to go for those 50-50s, kind of making the difference as well. Whereas in game number 1, felt a little bit too loose compared to what I think they needed to do to close out those games, and tightened it up in that second one. But, I mean, the main takeaway for me is that it hasn't been easy, right? Paralyzed Shooters, we saw them with the first back-to-back 7-goal victories in that semifinal to close it out, and now we're having, like, tiny margin 3-goal total games. So, you know, at the very least, it is, you know, Aerospace Wheeler and Rolling Carey making them work for those victories.
No doubt about it. I mean, we've seen really a couple of different storylines even just in this series, really, as we go 1-1. We saw what Rolling an Arrow did with a lot of pressure from Aerospace Wheeler. Now they've got to find a way to just get that response, and they're not going to get it here early, just 9 seconds in. Pop Clutch has that ball control, puts it out over to Michael. What a feed. Doesn't go for the additional shot. Instead, feeds Michael, as they are all offense for Paralyzed Shooter. They're finding the way to get it done against Rolling an Arrow. Might have taken them a game. They're starting to find those goals.
Yeah, definitely starting to understand their opponents a little bit better, what they can and can't get away with, and that's a great start for the Paralyzed Shooters. Of course, like you mentioned, coming out of that superstar Michael right now, and the pass cross field just a little bit underneath Pop Clutch, so not able to get that touch and send that one towards the net. See if Rolling Carey has the touch to get the clear, but looks like Aerospace Wheeler will have to chase this one down off that side wall. Bounces towards the net, but it's Michael up for the save. Like Arrow trying to wrap back around, keep the offense going for the blue team, but it's 2 members, both from Paralyzed Shooters, swarming him at this point in time. Rolling Carey tries to come back, get in that mix, but it might open up an offensive opportunity. The fake pass right by, the save attempt, but it's Michael with the goal.
That was so nasty. Oh my word, just nope, the shot's not now. And then this win too, the late flip. I mean, of course he doesn't really mean to do it, but it doesn't matter. He's in the right spot as his momentum perfectly caroms the ball in. What a play from Michael. I'm not taking my camera off.
Yeah, no, and like you said, winning that 50, intentional or not, makes all the difference, and he's got a little bump there, not going to overcommit, knows he might have to hustle back onto defense as Aerospace Wheeler trying to track this one towards the net, not going to connect, however, and it's Pop Clutch with the touch into the blue corner, recentered up for Michael. Michael's got to back up for this one, has to send this one to that side wall to slow down what could have potentially have been a blue team goal. Again, centered up, popped up, centered yet again. Michael trying to flip, trying to get the save, trying to get the stop. His teammate, however, thankfully there with that halo, the guardian angel, going to slow down the blue team yet again. And now it's Michael off to the races, up and in the air with a 50 where Aerospace will thankfully win it, but the teammate in Pop Clutch is there to try to slow him down. But here's Arrow with a speedy carry, and he's going to be able to walk that one right in to get the blue team on the board.
And the only thing maybe you could say about Michael right now is he's trying to be everywhere, literally, as he's maybe doing a little too much out there. But, hey, you can't really fault him as he's gotten so many goals tonight. But he tries to dive in instead of rotating back. It was almost there. He almost got that steal. But instead, we're down the other way as Michael's getting wild out here. He wants this win. He wants the grand prize money. He wants it all. He wants the world to know he's not the only Michael in Rocket League. Why are there so many good Michael? There's been Mikes. Mikes are very good at Rocket League. And all these players look just like their name. I know, right? Oh.
Woof.
Okay.
Pop Clutch saying, don't forget about the second half of the Paralyzed Shooters. I got a little bit to show myself, and a great little cutback touch, sending it to the opposite post. And that one's all but guaranteed for the Paralyzed Shooters. Up 3-1 now, almost at the halfway mark in game number 3 of this best of 5. Of course, Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler able to sneak that first game away from the Paralyzed Shooters, but they've really been putting on a clinic so far. Michael, with that pop-up, knows he's got to hustle back on defense because Aerospace Wheeler is trying to get the offense started, but it's Pop Clutch again, sending it from Yarb straight at the net to connect with another goal.
Paralyzed Shooters picking apart the defense you mentioned. We can start to pick apart how they're doing it, and you can see their touches are just fabulous right now, making it so hard for the blue side to respond. And unless they make a big save, unless they make a big play, it's bad news. That's really where we're at right now. And even though we started game 1 thinking, well, maybe this team isn't going to find the same kind of offense that they got previously in this series, they're really starting to find everything right now. Everything's working. This is going to be a big miss there that gives Pop Clutch an opportunity. Michael's just strolling at mid. He's going to shadow back instead of cutting. Rare time Michael's back on defense. Doesn't really have to play offense here with a big 3-goal lead. And I tell you what, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Michael and Pop Clutch. And unfortunately, on the blue side, Frank, I'm just not seeing that return. You got to get downfield. This may be an opportunity for Wheeler. Can he pop it on? Oh, man, gets down, gets the pinch off the ground. Big bump, though, it's in. Oh, man, big brain play with the big bump. Takes out Michael just when you thought he was going to make a save.
Yeah, Michael, you can see him thinking about it, wrapping around, lining it up. And Aerospace, instead of going for the ball, goes for Michael to guarantee that goal goes in. It works out for the blue team, cutting that deficit down to 2, but with 1:30 left to play. Paralyzed Shooters, ooh, that could have been a huge difference maker in just the attitude that Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler were able to play with, but unfortunately the defense was there for the orange team. Aerospace is not done yet, however. You can see the Paralyzed Shooters looking for these big clears just to try to slow down Wheeler. And Michael's going to play this one patient, let the defense settle. Pop Clutch pass this one over to the corner, tries to get the backflip, send that one towards the net, not going to work out. Thankfully, Pop Clutch is there to pop that one up, slow down that blue team offense. You see him sending that one over to Michael. Is there boost to continue this play? Picks up just a little bitty pad, so not going to be enough to get too aggressive with that one. I think he realizes his teammate is there, back on defense, so he's looking to set up for a little bit of that passing play. That one on target, but enough time for Aerospace to read that one. So here we'll see if Rolling Carry can get something rolling again for the blue team. Again, 30 seconds left to play. The 2-goal lead holds so far for the orange team, and a demo onto Aerospace is just brutal right now, especially with the limited time left to play. Paralyzed Shooters just looking to stall this one out. 10 seconds left on the clock. Another demo cutting down the potential of this blue team, but is there hope? It's up and it's in. Samael, it's possible.
Oh, it's got to be possible at this point. The way that Aerospace is just finding these goals out of nothing, goes bar down on himself. But yeah, he meant to do that. That's as calculated as it comes. You know he meant to do that. That's how he drew it up. Now, what can he do on the kickoff right here? Just 2 seconds. Going to have to draw up the best play he can. But oh, no, it's going to drop. Oh, it rolls. It's up. Michael, he's going to let it go. You know, he's going to let it drop. It's such a smart play. Doesn't get the touch. Just lets it drop. Forces the attack in. They can't catch up. And Paralyzed Shooter's going to sneak away with this, but is a lot closer than it looked like it was going to be midway through that game, I was kind of thinking, okay, Rolling an Arrow, are you going to get something going? I think I kind of even said, like, come on, guys, got to figure it out. And they did just that there. But man, just a little short. That's one of those games where you're feeling good, even though you lost. But man, you really would have liked to see that tie goal.
It's one of those things like extra 20 seconds left in the game, and I think, we probably go to overtime there. Unfortunately, Paralyzed Shooters had great game sense on that one, right? Just knowing that Aerospace was starting to heat up, and they just needed to find stalls anywhere they could. A great last attempt from the blue team, but yeah, just too little too late, unfortunately. We'll have to see. Maybe some of that momentum carries on to our game 4 here early on, and Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler can come out a little bit stronger, because I think that's really kind of what's been the difference maker for the Paralyzed Shooters. Is last 2 games they're out to a nice strong early lead, and it's all on the blue team to make up all of that difference. And it's just a tough thing to do, especially against a team like Michael and Pop Clutch. To see if they can do it here, though, because I think that was one of their strong suits, right? Rolling Carry, Aerospace Wheeler, able to get that download on their opponents, make those adjustments. We've started to see that a little bit in that previous game, but it's a tough ask when you have Michael pulling off plays like that. Has the assist from Pop Clutch on the 50-50, intentional or not, it's setting him up perfectly to get on the board early yet again.
Yeah, and he can really choose where he's shooting right there with Rolling Carry sitting goal line. I know that's how Rolling Carry prefers to defend. You can kind of feel that at this point with some of the previous games that we've seen, and it's been all right with Aerospace Wheeler doing a really good job of filling in the gaps, but you could see there how much time and space in front of Rolling Carry, and that means it's just really tough to defend. I mean, you can't cover the whole net as a defender staring down somebody with no momentum at all. So something to think about as we move forward. I think we got to see some offense coming out of Rolling Carry as well. But it may not matter at all as he's getting pushed back, whether he likes it or not. We see Michael come through. Big demo, takes out his teammate, and then yet again staring down that Michael shot. We know where it's going.
Yeah, I think this is like a case of Paralyzed Shooters just being 100% locked in, knowing what they need to do to find success, close out this series. And I mean, there's full steam ahead against Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler right now. We'll have to see. A little touch over to Pop Clutch, going to be sent into the blue side corner of that pitch. Michael kind of reading there, you could see it, but just a good defensive play out of the blue team. Able to read what the Paralyzed Shooters wanted to do, and we have Pop Clutch bumped out of the way, but able to recover to at least get possession of the ball. But for how long? As Rolling Carry is going to come through, trying to set up Aerospace. Recognizes nothing really to come from that one, so has to try to contest, hustle back on defense. That one's a little bit at the net, getting a little bit dicey there with that touch. Pop Clutch, however, going to send this one right back at the net, and it's going to bounce through 2 defenders as Paralyzed Shooters are up 3-0 at this point.
He's seeing eye shot there from Pop Clutch. It's off the side wall, and it's really a good shot considering the lack of options with 2 defenders in net. He goes far wide with the shot and a bounce. A little sneaky there as he gets it through, and Paralyzed Shooters really can do no wrong right now. 3 shots, 3 goals, converting on everything, and Rolling an Arrow. That big start they were wanting, they were. You mentioned, Frank, can they come out? Can they get a goal? Can they play with the lead? That's been a big question for this team. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to happen for the 3rd straight game in a row, and this is now the 4th goal in a row.
Yeah, it feels like the wheels are starting to come off a little bit for Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler. Paralyzed Shooters just kind of finding all of these opportunities, all of these openings, and probably Rolling Carry and Aerospace getting a little desperate, trying to find an angle into this game, and unfortunately that's opened up more holes in their defense, and Michael Pop Clutch just right there to exploit that. There's another touch. Pop Clutch going to send this one to the side wall. Force blue team to chase this one down. Centered up, but teammate going to be getting back on defense for the blue squad. Here's a pass from Michael over to Pop Clutch. Gets the demo. This one is an opportunity for the blue team, and they will make good on that one. 4-1 now as Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler trail by 3.
What a read there. It's Aerospace. He's not in the air. He's on the ground, and that's one of the best reads you could ever expect. And somebody was watching how Paralyzed Shooters were scored in the previous series because he read that so well. That pass out center was right there to win the 50 and then immediately downfield to get a goal. You love that kind of vision coming out of Aerospace Wheeler. He is not out of this. He sees the time on the clock as well. And he recognizes there's a lot of time for the blue side to get back in this. Now there's a chance to win this 50, but no, he's not going to win anything except a respawn as Pop Clutch takes him out. And Michael, big 3-goal lead. He can slow it down right now. It's exactly what he'll do.
Yeah, I think Paralyzed Shooters recognizing that the game's a lot easier when it's a literal 2v1 going for those aggressive physical demo plays, but that aggression has opened up some gaps in the defense. Unfortunately, that wide open net sometimes the toughest to hit. As Aerospace not going to be able to find the net on that one. A pinch from Michael on that sidewall. Might be sending it at his own goal, and if you're the blue team, you take those.
Oh, you take those all day long. The bumps, it's just pinball out there. I don't have a clue what's going on even right before that. And then Michael, that pinch, that actually was sick. Yeah, it's just the wrong direction.
Wrong way. Yeah. He could just send it the opposite way, and that is, a highlight for the ages. Unfortunately, the own goal is a blooper for the ages, and we'll have to see if it comes back to bite them. Just over 2 minutes left to play. Paralyzed Shooters looking to close this one out. Aerospace Wheeler, however, has a nice little touch, but Pop Clutch is there for the recovery for the orange team. Rolling carry, doing a little slide into that defensive position, and was ready for that offense to come through. Michael set up for this one now. Aerospace with the contest, going to be popped straight up, and it's Pop Clutch going to be going wide on that attempt. Michael, however, with a disgusting wrap back around to get that goal and secure the hat trick for himself.
Yeah, and it's a smart play, even though it doesn't quite go down how Paralyzed Shooters were expecting. Really smart play leading up to that. Recognizing, again, Rolling Carry's kind of there, and you can bump him out of the net or at least make him jump. Rolling Carry did a really good job, actually, of jumping up and getting out of the way of that, but unfortunately the rebound ends up coming right back out. But now here's Wheeler. That's going to be up over into the upper 90 off the side wall. Wheeler, again, just making big plays. He's got a lot of boost in the tank and then perfectly slots it up into the corner.
Yeah, and that's what the blue team needs right now, and they need to do it sooner. I think that was kind of their downfall in that previous game where they mounted a small little comeback, but just wasn't enough time left on the clock. So they're going to get the momentum rolling in their favor. They need to do it now because Paralyzed Shooters are on that series point, looking to close it out right here. Michael going to take this one right at the defense. No mind games on that play. That allows Aerospace to get the touch. Does get it by one defender, but it's going to go wide right. Force Rolling Carry to try and chase this one down, and unfortunately that touch not going to come through, but does get the bump onto Pop Clutch to slow down the Paralyzed Shooters offense. But here comes Michael, tries to scoop this one up and over the defense. Pop Clutch tries to be the insurance policy, but unfortunately not going to be able to connect.
And I am really impressed with Rolling Carry stepping up, grinding this out, really being in the right spot here for Wheeler, allowing him to get in the play and really enabling his teammate. It's working out right now for Blue. The only problem is the scoreboard that we mentioned previously. They need 2 more goals if they're going to tie this up. But man, they have pressed back late in these games, always finding offense late. Hopefully not too little, too late for them. And here's another shot coming through. Pop Clutch was a big save. It's out, but it's not far enough. But, Wheeler can't get there, and it is going to drop. It's going to be a clear, and they'll have to work for this field yet again. That was the chance. Unfortunately, it does not drop.
Yeah, Pop Clutch there, just with enough of a presence to deter some of that blue team offense. And if Pop Clutch there with the assist from Michael, and now yet again they kind of set themselves up to win either way, whether it's 7 goals or the clock expiring. It looks all but signed, sealed, delivered here for the Paralyzed Shooters to be your champions, but we'll have to see. I'm sure Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler are not going to go down without a fight. See in the final 10 seconds, can they make something insane happen? But it's Michael with just a heads-up play with that bump. Pop Clutch going to be floating right on by. I think it's all but done here. The Paralyzed Shooters, once this ball hits the ground, they will be your champions. It's not done yet. Little game of keep it up being played, but there you have it. Paralyzed Shooters are your champions here today.
And they did it on the backs of goals, lots of goals, lots of plays coming from Michael. Really, though, in the end, especially in this grand finals, much more balanced than we saw even in that semifinals. Michael's still doing a ton, but Pop Clutch also getting involved in the offense as well. We saw both players there, each getting 3 goals, and really just a fabulous team effort for a team that now has to decide with all of these random teams in the mix if they're going to stick together or if they're going to go out and sort of try to cherry pick one of the opponents that they've seen. And I know we've got a lot to talk about into this next tournament as we get there, Frank, but I just wanted to mention that because that's really exciting for me because we've got a good look at all these players now. We've had 2 different winners, 4 different players have won, but a lot of really good players that you can kind of think in your mind might mesh well together, might form that super team as we go into the 3rd qualifier. So this is really all just heating up here.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see kind of where the rosters settle after all of this. Like you mentioned, we have 4 champions at this point. Do they go their separate ways or do they try to form those super teams? And is there someone that's going to rise through the ranks to contest these grand finals winners? We're going to have to see. But before we do that, I'm going to throw it over to Lauren to see what she thought of that grand final action.
You know, I like the theories that you guys are presenting already and coming up with. All right, we've got, like you said, multiple champions.
Right.
Do they kind of stick with who they won with? Do they change it up a little bit and go with who they've seen perform well throughout the brackets? I'm interested to see what happens at our next qualifier, but let's take a look back at the bracket. Let's talk about what happened in these grand finals because this was, okay, and this just could have been my interpretation, but I feel like Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler really threw Paralyzed Shooters off their game in the beginning because it was super, super balanced, but you talked about having more time to adjust to new play styles, and that's what the best of 5 really did for Paralyzed Shooters.
Yeah, it kind of worked for them and against them. I think Rolling Carry and Aerospace Wheeler were right on the cusp of figuring it out, especially in that game 3 where I think if they had like 20 more seconds on the clock, it's a totally different series and we're like going to a game 5. But Paralyzed Shooters were able to just kind of play to their strengths more than trying to figure out their opponents, and they're like, let's just keep going on offense and keep scoring goals because we have no reason to stop right now. So I think there needed to be some more drastic adjustments from that blue team in that grand final, but I think all in all, just great Rocket League being played across the board.
Yeah, it was super entertaining. And then, of course, down there at the bottom, it's Dream Makers who come out on top in that matchup, closing out 3rd place in our consolation match. And, of course, congratulations one more time to Paralyzed Shooters for a phenomenal performance here in our 2nd qualifier of the entire season. Now, guys, we still have some more stuff to talk about, okay? Obviously, before we go, if you liked what you just watched, come join us, okay? You can sign up at aet.gg, $3,000 on the line every single time, Frank.
Yeah, like you kind of mentioned, not bad for an honest day's work of Rocket League, especially when it's duos. You only have to split that $1,400 down the middle. That's easy math for me. That's $700 per player. So no reason not to sign up and apply and kind of go through that process and kind of get in on the tournaments.
Exactly. And speaking of tournaments and fun, like we said earlier, right after this is going to be our community game night featuring Fall Guys. You can also get yourself set up for that at aet.gg. That should be super fun. I mean, Fall Guys is always a fantastic community game, and it's just enjoyable friendship time with everybody. And I feel like that's kind of what we're doing here. We're growing this community.
Yeah, I just like the phrase friendship time.
It is friendship time.
I like that. That's dope. I'm going to use that.
Good, you should. And then, of course, as always, if you guys want to support any of our amazing charity partners, they are all listed below, and you can head on over to aet.gg/donate to do exactly that. We have 3 amazing causes that you will be able to support by doing so. So please help us out. But that's a wrap on our 2nd qualifier so far this season. What are your thoughts as we get to almost the halfway point in just our qualifiers portion?
Okay, so to be honest, I'm ready for all the drama that's going to come with the rosters.
Yes.
Who's teaming up? Who's going to be salty? Who's going to be looking to get revenge? I think we've got some great players here this season that have already been put on display, and there might even be some teams that have just been waiting to play with their duo, kind of keeping those cards close to their chest. So I'm really I'm really looking forward to qualifier number 3 just for the rosters alone. And I mean, if we get great Rocket League gameplay, which we've gotten every time so far, that's really just the cherry on top.
I like that. I like that. That's going to be really fun. And then, of course, if they don't make it through any of our qualifiers, there is the LCQ before we make it to our finals in January. So there's going to be tons of Rocket League action coming your way. So make sure you guys come check it out for the next one. We'll see you next time.